No external resources, a lot of internal resources. So if we are going to work on a 1,000-year project, we have a lot of resources inside us, but not outside. And we don't care about outside. Now assurances are of two kinds, horizontal and vertical. Horizontal assurance means if I become empowered, if I don't let something wrong happen, if I don't take water from 500 feet of the well, groundwater, will other people also cooperate? In other words, if I don't exploit resources excessively, will others cooperate? If I don't put my polluted effluent inside the groundwater, which many people in Vatva do and Vapi do, they put their effluents, industrial effluents, inside the ground, making holes. They don't even care what the future generation will say after 1,000 years or 500 years when they will dig a bore, and in the bore they will find black substance. They will wonder, how come? What kind of geology it is that this black substance was made? They'll have to scratch their head. How did it reach there? And after that somebody will discover, oh, our great ancestors were so selfish and so short-sighted. They must have put these effluents inside the ground. But it will take time. It will require a lot of effort. It will not be easy for them to figure out. But just imagine. Now, what is the guarantee that if I don't put the effluents, others will also not put? That is called horizontal assurance. If I don't put milk in the tank, what is the guarantee that others will also not put the milk? They will only put water. The collective choice problem. How do we create cooperative solutions? So how do we create horizontal assurances so that I don't feel helpless? मैं कमजोर नहीं हूं क्योंकि मुझे नहीं मालूम कि बाकी लोग मेरा साथ देंगे कि नहीं देंगे. मैं तो करूंगा जो सही चीज है, बाकी लोग नहीं करेंगे तो कोई बात नहीं, वो भी करेंगे धीरे धीरे. But then you have to figure out what kind of institutions you generate so that other people cooperate. This is called horizontal assurance. The vertical assurance is, if I plant a seed today, after 20 years can I harvest the tree? मैं आज बीज बोऊं तो 20 साल बाद पेड़ को काट पाऊंगा? ये क्या गारंटी है? If I conserve a nest on a tree in my garden, will others let me keep this tree intact when the road gets widened? Should I conserve, should I protect this bird because after 10 years, 5 years, this road is going to be widened and then they are going to cut this tree? What is the guarantee that they will leave this tree? They will make the road around the tree. What is the guarantee? So future returns from present investment is about vertical assurance. Collective others' behavior vis-a-vis one's own is horizontal assurance. Ability, skill. Ability to convert access into investment. So let us say you have a right to collect forest produce. You have assurance that whatever you collect you can retain, but you don't have the skill to convert that resource into value-added product. You have ability, you have skill, access, you have assurance, but you don't have a skill, then society will not evolve. You have a skill, you have access, but you have no assurance, then also it will not work. You have assurance, you have the skill, but you don't have access, then also it will not work. But the beauty is that if you know any two, third one you can speculate what kind of rules you should evolve. That's the beauty of it, because there is a systematic nature of relationship between access, assurance and ability. And attitudes, again, as I told about culture, they are shaped by the experiences and they also shape the experiences. Some of us will always find fault. We may have a cribbing attitude, but our attitude can change if we get positive reinforcement. नहीं भाई, कुछ ना कुछ हो सकता है. Let us try, let us try, let us try. We'll work it out, we'll work it out. So the idea is that if there is any policy, any program, any technology, any change that we want to bring about in future, if we use this framework, we'll be able to figure out what kind of access to resources we need to develop, what kind of access to institutions. If women do not come in the meeting, what do we do? So this time in December I came to know about a cell phone based projector. So we have a projector in a cell phone, Intex company. So we said we will carry these projectors with us in the Shodh Yatra, and wherever women sit, we will start showing the program there. So if you don't let them come, doesn't matter, we will take the presentation there. So we will make separate presentation to men, separate to women. They will not be deprived of what knowledge we want to share. They will also have access to that. Technologically, we solve the problem of access. Institutionally, we couldn't solve. We couldn't find a way that women should be allowed to come and sit in the front. No way we can make it happen. हमारे हाथ में नहीं है अभी वो. But we can make sure. I tell you once, we were in Alwar Shodh Yatra. तुम थे अलवर में? नहीं, तुम तो नहीं थे. अलवर में तुम थे. So we were showing a presentation. You remember that village? हम लोग projector दिखा रहे थे. And after some time, we said, unless women come, we will not show the remaining presentation. They said that they are very busy. घर में खाना बना रही हैं, तो हमने कहा ठीक है, खाना बन जाएगा, उसके बाद शुरू करेंगे. We will show the presentation after women make the food. They said they are very busy, they cannot come, they have to look after the children. Say, all right, so then we will wait. Half an hour passed, 40 minutes passed, all the women started coming. Then we asked this question, why did it take us so long? We never did that before this. But that day we did it and it worked. Huh? Because we were also adjusting with the absence of women in the meetings. We had accepted that as a cultural rule. We had internalized that constraint. You see the point? I am telling you about ourselves. For previous, I think it was 16th Shodh Yatra, I think, or 15th, I don't remember. But previous 14 Shodh Yatras, we had not put this condition. It was only in this Shodh Yatra that we started to put this condition. And the things changed. So many times we don't realize that by adjusting to the constraints, to the cultural constraints, we reinforce them. We reinforce them. So attitudes are formed by these compromises made repeatedly by us. Keep on compromising, repeat. Attitude बनता जाएगा. करो समझौता और समझौता करो, हो जाएगा. So this whole matrix is a sieve, is a jali, is a net through which you can take any policy, any program, and then it will, hopefully, it will not give you a solution, but it will prevent a blunder from happening. कोई important चीज छूटेगी नहीं. We will not leave anything important if we use this framework. No matter for what project, no matter for which situation, no matter for which policy, no matter where. Because it will force us to think about those dimensions of the phenomena which otherwise may get missed. And many of these things have come today. So we have it is just integrating all those concerns that we have talked about, but in some sense intuitively it tells us that any one of them is not enough. They have to interact with this, and this interaction creates a platform, a web in which our choices have to be appraised, and hopefully then we arrive at an outcome which is a little more sustainable than before, little more holistic, little less exclusionary, little more inclusive, because it takes into account the exclusion by design. It doesn't happen by chance. तो आप नहीं कह सकते मुझे ध्यान नहीं रहा, तो ध्यान कैसे नहीं रहा भाई? Through this process we are going to find what kind of skills they are there, what kind of technology we need to develop, what kind of institutions we need to create or we need to build upon, what kind of resources we need to draw upon. All right. So tomorrow we will try to build upon the questions that you have, and if it works well, then we will draw up an agenda for next phase whenever we do that after a few months. But I would also like that if some people will volunteer to next time to prepare presentations on different days, so we can have maybe a more cooperative, more participatory course where we'll all learn from each other from different disciplines. So maybe you bring, there's a very interesting concept of psychology called as RET, Rational Emotive Psychotherapy, you must have. And I knew Albert Ellis a long time ago and had a lot of interactions with him. It's very interesting because he built upon the framework available in our Upanishads and drew some wonderful lessons of psychotherapy, building upon our scriptures, and use them as an empowering tool. One of the very great thinkers, I would say, to my mind. So like that, there are, from different disciplines, we bring perspectives after a lot of rigorous review and research to suggest to us that if the moment comes when we have feelings, we have knowledge, but it is not converting into action. What can be possible ways from different disciplines that we could lead to that, so that we all get empowered to make that our 1,000-year plan come true. Thank you.